We live, baby. Welcome to this episode of On Another Line. We are going to be talking about anything and everything that is bass fishing this evening, but nothing really all on the same topic. So, we are going to talk about a few things today, and we will be looking at some deals. And I'm going to get you guys an opinion of what I should do here and some thanks and other things. And if you guys don't care to share out this word and share the link that can get the word out that we're live, I'd appreciate it. Well, that being said, we are going to be right back after this intro. Let go.
That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cave and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis rod. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it the world. Hello, welcome to my world.
Yeah, and we back. Same bat time, same bat channel from last week. Sweet. Jack's got the Friday the 13th going on there. Got to show Jack's artwork. But first and foremost, I think is in honor or is in need from me. One, I'd like to thank you guys that are just hopping on YouTube and subscribing. Appreciate that. I have been gaining followers, not astronomically, but I'm okay with the progress. And I think a lot of that's due to the shorts that I've been posting a lot of what's up. Yes, man, for sure. Which is another thing. We're going to talk about that in just a second, about how that went down with my tires, because I cannot be any more pleased with how that was going down. So I'll talk to you about that in just a second. But thanks. I was, I'm extremely pleased with the people that are hopping on YouTube, and I can't thank you guys enough. It really means a lot to me for you guys jumping on there. Second off, the thanks that I want to throw out there is for those of you guys that voted for me for the Yolatech edited video of the year contest. I won that category. I ended up winning $250 worth of Yolatech gear, which I bought JR a Yolatech power stick for his boat. One, mainly, that was kind of like a buddy deal, but that's mainly for me not having to pack my own stuff. I just know that it's in his boat, throw it on there, good to go. But I also won some cash, $250, which is great. I don't want to foreshadow that, or I don't want to overshadow that with what I'm about to say. But next week, I am going to be entered into the Yolatech Video of the Year contest, which is going to be myself, the winner of the raw video, which means it couldn't be edited, and the blooper video, which is right now it's live on their site, so you can vote on that. Matter of fact, I think Michael Dickerson is on here, a guy that watches our show all the time. He is one of those, and so you can go find his stuff. I watched all of them the other day, and he lost his shoe in the water after catching a 7-pounder. Pretty cool blooper. But next week, I will be entered into one of 3 videos for the Yolatech Video of the Year, and that has a lot better prize money and a lot of stuff that's going to happen. So if I win that one out, so I have 1 in 3 chance of winning, but I'm going to need you guys' help. It's kind of like and I hate it. It's this way. It's a popularity contest where I have to have you guys vote, and then at the end of it, they'll take that and they'll tally that, and then they'll have judges on their side. They'll, that also weighs into it, but I have the potential to win $1,250 more dollars. So basically $1,500 cash that I'll win. Now, the reason that I want to kind of throw that out there is because I'm going to be blowing you guys up next week for that, because JR and I have been talking about it, and I'm going to get your guys' opinion about what you think I should do. And the goal is that if I win this video series or this video of the year, that I've been trying to buy a 12-inch Garmin and an LSV 34 live scope system, which is about $3,800. Right. So $3,800 is not chump change. It's a lot of money for me. I have currently the money from working over the summer, a lot of odd jobs. I have the money to cover that stuff right now. But it's not like it's not, money that I can afford to spend it, but it's kind of like my nest egg. But that extra $1,500 that I would win from Yolatech would definitely knock, at least almost half of it out, which is a huge deal. Drop a comment below what you think I should do. I'm going fishing in 2 weeks. I'm going down to North Carolina to my buddy's house. We're going to go down to Fish Lake Jordan and Sharon Harris and a couple others down there. Do I buy the live scope now and risk having a 1 in 3 chance of winning that video series, or do I wait until the video series comes out, potentially win that, and then buy it? What do you guys think I should do? What do you think, Jared? What's your deal?
That was me.
Buy it. Larry says buy it too. So I don't know. Like, it's a weird situation for me when I look at it this way. Do I want to buy it? Am I going to buy it eventually? Sure. It's crazy to think about that it's $3,800. So far right now, just last year, I put over $10,000 worth of upgrades on my boat, which are crazy. I put 2 Humminbird Solix 15s. I put a new Minn Kota Ultrex Quest on my boat last month, or actually in November, which, it's a ton of money. But if I win this thing, which I potentially could, I have a 1 in 3 chance, and I am very biased. I have a hard time thinking that I'm going to call a spade a spade. I think the video that I entered into that contest is one of the best videos I've ever made in my life.
The best.
If I'm ever going to win a video series, it's there. Redford's on my side. He said, yeah.
I agree, man. I mean, at this point, you're so focused on it, like you're just going to be happy because you can figure it out, and you have the sooner you start, the more you'll have time to figure it out. And plus, my mom says buy it. So, I mean, obviously, if she says buy it, you buy it.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to, you guys need to go subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, just keep on watching him so he gets that penny every time you watch
penny. Shoot, man, you have to watch it for days to give me a penny. But anyway, I do want to thank you guys out there for the support, but please watch for that. And I'm going to be blowing you guys up. I'm going to be inundating you with some, I'll be text messaging people and hitting people up on TikTok and the whole 9 yards. But if you see that video, I'd appreciate you guys voting for me in the end, because that $1,500 in the end, I mean, I do have $250 now, right? Like, that's kind of a little bit.
It's a great video too. I mean, if you guys haven't watched it, it's like the heart of a fisherman. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mean, like I can probably show it here. Let's see if I can. Oh man, I can do this. I'm sure if you guys have subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is probably going to be the 418th time you've seen it, because I've posted it like 448 times. But let's see if I can find it here. Last week's show, by the way, if you missed it, was fish grass, don't smoke it.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Was a good one. I enjoy it.
I liked. I think 2 weeks ago we had a good one too. Top 10 or top 5 baits for each of us. That was a fun one. So today we kind of came up with some topics, but we are kind of just threw a bunch of them together and we've got them listed here. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, we're all for it. I mean, we're in a live chat right here with you guys, so please comment, let us know. So yep. First thing I have up, and I think I know what everybody's going to say, is spinning rods versus spinning reels versus casting reels and rods. What's your favorite and why? And what do you catch more fish with? I think that's a kind of a no-brainer for most people.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and throw out my opinion on that. I started bass fishing with nothing but spinning rods, right? So that's what it was when I took an interest into bass fishing. This wasn't from a $70,000 boat pulled by a $70,000 truck with $100,000 worth of gear on your boat. This is me packing one rod and reel. And I'm talking like back in the old school days where I'd have like a Shimano FX, which is like $19, or even back before that, like I would throw a Berkeley Cherrywood rod, which is still one of my favorite rods on the planet. Man, they're so good for what they are. Matter of fact, I still have one. I found it in the garage the other day. And, I would go to the strip mine ponds around my house and I would find farm ponds and things. And I would take a very small selection of baits. Like I would throw some Zoom worms in there. I would throw some, like 64th ounce lead weights on there, like 2 to 3/0 offset shank worm hooks. And that was my day. Like I fished, and I would say there is, even now, even though I've been fishing so hardcore for the last, I don't know, we'll say 20 years, I've been really hardcore fishing. I fished way before that, but I never really got into it, until I really had my driver's license, when I could, drive myself places and stuff. I'm going to throw out that I've probably still to this day caught more fish on spinning gear than I have casting.
Man, there's no doubt for me. I've caught, I would say, double the amount of fish on spinning gear than casting gear. Around here, I feel like finesse is king, and maybe I'm making a mistake, but I feel like, maybe I catch more small fish and less big fish because I grab that spinning rod so much. But if I'm going for numbers, I'm going with the spinning rod. If I'm going with fun, probably a casting rod and reel.
Yep. So I have this geared up here, guys. I'll show you the video that we're talking about that will be out. So I did win this category. So I won the edited vision or edited category, but the voiceover and stuff that you hear is literally stuff that I've written about what I think fishing is about. So I'll show you guys this, then we'll get right back into it. In a world where chaos often reigns, there exists a sanctuary, a haven where time slows and the soul finds solace. Welcome to the world where early morning sunrises paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, and late evening sunsets whisper stories that only the water knows. A place where the only thing that matters is the dance between man and nature. Welcome to the world of bass fishing, where it's more than just a passion, it's a way of life. It's about more than just catching a fish. It's about the quiet moments, the solitude, and the connection with nature that fills the soul. As the sun breaks the horizon, you're not just on a boat, you're on a journey to discover the mysteries beneath the surface. The scenery becomes a canvas, and every cast is a stroke of artistry. It's about the untouched beauty of nature, the rhythmic sound of water lapping against the boat, and the melody of birds welcoming a new day. But fishing is more than just a solitary pursuit. It's a brotherhood, a shared passion that transcends words. In this brotherhood of the rod and reel, bonds are forged and stories are woven into the very fabric of our existence. It's about the camaraderie, the laughter, and the bond that forms over tales of the one that got away. It's the thrill of never knowing what the day brings. Every cast is a toss of the dice, a dance with the unknown. The anticipation, the excitement, it's a heartbeat that echoes across the water. Every cast is a leap of faith, a connection with the unknown. You never know when the water will come alive with that electrifying jolt of a lifetime, the giant bass that ledges are made of. And then it happens. The water erupts and time seems to slow down as you realize you've hooked into something truly extraordinary. The battle begins, a dance between the angler and the leviathan beneath the surface. Your heart races, palms sweat, and the world fades away. In that moment, it's just you and the fish, a connection, an understanding that transcends the ordinary. The fight is fierce, but so is your determination. And there it is, the culmination of skill, patience, and an unyielding love for the sport. A giant bass, a trophy that's more than just a measure of size. It's a testament to the dedication and respect you have for the water and its inhabitants. Fishing isn't just a hobby, it's a sanctuary, a place where the chaos of the world fades away, leaving only the serenity of the waters. It's a way of life, a source of joy, and the constant reminder that in the simplicity of a sunrise or the stillness of a sunset, we find our truest selves. So as the sun sets on another day spent in the pursuit of the elusive bass, remember, fishing isn't just a pastime, it's a way of life, a testament to our connections with nature, a journey of self-discovery, and the enduring love affair with the waters that run through our veins. So cast your line, embrace the challenge, and live the bass fishing life to the fullest, because out here, every day is a new opportunity for greatness. So there it is. That's the
I love
video.
seeing all the St. Clair pictures, man. It just makes me so happy. Like that
Yeah,
was
man. So yes, that was definitely at St. Clair. I appreciate your kind words there, man. Fred Redfern says, spinning for numbers, casting for weight, spinning for slow fishing, casting for searching and covering water. That's pretty. I agree with that. Yeah, Michael, no problem. So again, guys, if you guys missed that, Michael is one of those deals with. He's on the blooper right now. So you guys go over there to Yolatech's Facebook page, or you can vote 900 different ways. Find his video on there, and you can just comment on there. But next week, I'm going to be blowing you guys up because I need some help again. I probably will just buy the thing. I'll probably just call Chris or Tyler this week, maybe tomorrow, and just tell them to order the thing. That'll give me a week to rig it all up, and I'm gonna build a mount myself for the 1-up mount, or the 2-up mount on my dash or on my bow. But yeah, so what's up, Matthew Strickland? What's up, buddy? First and foremost, really quickly, I appreciate it, man. I want to give a couple shout outs here really quickly. First and foremost, today, one of my buddies caught an absolute hammer at Lake Chickamauga. You guys have probably seen this thing shared all over the place. But Jared McKnight from Ironton, Ohio, caught a 10+ pounder at Chick today. Like, freaking stud, dude. If you ever see this out there, if you're watching, congratulations, buddy. You absolutely deserve it. That is a freaking hammer.
Look at the belly on that fish. Jeez Louise.
Crazy. So yeah, before we go any further on spinning and casting, one of the things we was talking about earlier with Andrew talking about that, this past or 2 weeks ago, I needed some new tires for my truck. I have a 2020 Silverado 1500. It's a high country edition, but it had 265 or 275 60 20s on it, which buy a truck that has 20s on it. It'll be fun, they said. Not so much on the cheap side. So I knew it was going to be expensive. Looked around, found some prices on things that, like, the cheapest I could find them was like $1,600, and that was plus mounting and balancing and all that stuff. Andrew, his father-in-law owns the Discount Tire in Ironton, Ohio. There, the guy's name's Jeff. But I went down there. Didn't ask for a deal. Didn't have asked for him to sponsor the show or anything down there. I went down there and said, I need these tires. Knew that it was going to be a little cheaper. If not, I would be spending my money in my hometown or close to it anyway. And went down there, and he saved me a pile of money and had me ordered it on one day, ordered my tires one day, had them in the next day, and put them on. And best place I could find was like $1,600 plus mounting and balancing. I got them out the door, mounted, balance, and everything for under $1,300. So it was a great deal. So if you guys are looking for some tires down there, and again, we're in no affiliation for that, just trying to throw you guys out some stuff. And another thing is this is the time of year where everybody's doing maintenance on their boats, which is a thing we're going to be talking about in just a minute. Holler at Larry Slack and the people over in Ashland. Brandon Patrick also works over there. Hydraulic Services and Supply. I'm going to try to find the It is on Front Street in Ashland. They have a couple different locations, but again, hydraulic service and services and supply, and they'll take care of you. Phone number is 606-324-3479. Most of the time, my biggest deal was that hydraulic ram that's on the steering on my boat was leaking. Took it over there. They put it in their shop, had it done within a couple hours for me. Don't expect that kind of service, but they will get you going. And I like to shout out people that are really good to me. And again, those are no affiliation companies, but you should check them out if you're in our area.
There's so many local businesses around here that are just awesome that we need to, bring up as much as possible. I mean, this is really a big deal and big reason why we, got in contact and with Malone's. So because they were so good to me the entire way through this process and so friendly, and Tyler and Chris down there, they just really have made this such an easy process for me. So we're happy to have them on with us now.
For sure.
So
yeah.
In saying that, what are some of the necessities for a boat? What should I definitely put in my new boat? And Tyler had a great one for me, and you can already start on that one if you want.
Yep. So, first off, we're talking about running electronics. So right now I have 4 31 series batteries in my boat. They're not lithiums. Eventually they will be. We're going to try to get hooked up with Dakota Lithiums. GR's actually running some Amazon brand lithiums, or not Amazon brand, but Amazon bought lithiums that are about half the price.
Fly time is the
We're
name.
gonna have to try. We're gonna try them out and give you guys our honest review. But batteries are a thing that we as bass fishermen, we don't really take for granted because we know we have to have them. So we normally spend a ton of money on batteries and things, but it doesn't matter how much money you spend on batteries. They're a finite, amount of power. You could buy something that has a 300 amp hour battery, and eventually it's going to go dead, and eventually it's going to go bad. So don't be stuck on the water without something to get you at least back to the ramp. JR and I felt that frustration in his boat, his old boat. We were down at Del Hollow, and what had happened was we had left the main power switch on for some reason, and all of his graphs ran the 5.5, 6 hours to get down there, and ran his battery. So he had 2 12s and a 9 running on there. So if the battery at that point was going bad anyway, so it ran it dead. And we were, it was charged enough to get the boat started initially, and we fished with a trolling motor in those graphs for another 2 hours in this cove probably. Tried to start the motor and tried to get back out of there to go to another spot, and it was dead. We couldn't even get it started. So at that point, what I'm saying is bring something that will allow you to, jump the battery. It used to be the old school. Huh?
You kill a bat. And
He did kill a bat. But so it used to be a set of jumper cables was the most compact thing you can have. Right now I carry, and I'm buying multiple of them because they're fairly inexpensive. They do last forever. And I personally run NOCO brand, but I think they're all lithium. I think they're all about the same. But a jump pack for me is going to be something that's indispensable. I have one in my truck and one in my boat. One that's, I have a set of jumper cables in my boat right now, but I have a new jump pack coming that I'll put in my boat. And the reason that I kind of like that is the fact that if your trolling motor batteries are bad or dead, you're not going to be able to jump that to your power. However, one of the coolest things that I've seen, and there's not very many companies out there, I think one of them is Powerhouse Lithium, which again, no affiliation here, but I really love the fact that Powerhouse Lithium batteries have a jump pack built in to their actual battery. So if you get this one specific battery model, it has, let's just say that it has 120 amp hour. Once that battery goes dead, you can press a button on the actual battery and it will give you a backup power supply to actually boost your engine and get it started, which I think is amazing. Yeah, but I think a necessity for a boat right now is definitely something to jump your battery, whether that be jumper cables. But I think the best bang for your buck right now is to buy a lithium jump pack.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. That's for sure. And I took you along with me.
Yeah. Let's see there. Yeah, so I'm going that way right now. I have three. Actually, I have four. I have three Odysseys and one just cheap battery in my boat, but they're all like the three Odysseys I'm running right now for my trolling motors are like 71 pounds apiece. Master disconnect switch. So I agree with that. That's something that I don't have right now in my boat, and I will be adding. You guys will see a video coming out of that soon. I also, and this is not a necessity, but I think it's something that you would like more than not, is a remote drain plug.
Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know how many times I've forgotten that. I had to get my shoulder wet to be able to shut the drain.
Yeah, so the cool thing about one thing I was looking at on I done a video the other day about a boat down at Malone's Marine called the Bass Cat Caracal, which is a brand new boat that they have out. It's a brand new series. They have an STS series, which is a soft touch system, different hull. They've changed it a little bit. They've made it wider. They've done a lot of stuff. They've had this boat for a long time. But this boat didn't have, I don't know if it had a remote drain plug or not. I don't think it did. And literally to get underneath there to put the drain plug in, it was like, I'm talking 18 inches back underneath the transom of the boat, which is a pain, man. And I never leave it in just for the fear of one, water standing in there. I don't think it's going to really hurt the boat, especially with now, you know, new technology when it comes to fiberglass and all the resin and stuff that they're using. Most of all the boats have fiberglass transoms in them. They're not wooden anymore. I get all that, but I always take my drain plug out, especially if it's cold. I don't want stuff freezing in my boat and all that stuff. So I recently had a buddy of mine, actually, I designed it, and he's a very good fabricator. And I could have bought one. They're like 85 or $100 for this mount. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put him to work. So I designed it on the same stuff I teach kids how to do at school. Used it as a teaching technique. Sent it to my buddy via blueprints, and then 8 hours later, I have this remote drain plug mounting bracket. So I'm going to be adding one of those, but I don't think that's quite a necessity. But I think it's definitely the berries. One of the things that I have a hard time right now with is inflatable life jackets versus just standard foam life jackets. I personally have 3 inflatables in my boat. So I force everybody that's in my boat, unless they bring their own, to wear an inflatable. Now, you hear so many stories about it. Matter of fact, I just heard of one this past weekend. There was a boat. There was like a high school tournament or a college tournament on Conroe or somewhere down there, and 2 boats collided, and they hit each other so hard that both of the consoles of these boats were ejected. I'm not talking about the people. They were ejected too, but the consoles were knocked out of the boat. Well, one of the guys that was driving was wearing an inflatable life jacket, and when he hit the water, his inflatable life jacket never deployed. Luckily enough, he landed next to one of the guys in the other boat that wasn't severely hurt, and he gets a hold of this young guy and either takes him to shore or takes him to the boat. Somehow this guy's unconscious, and they finally get him, out of the water, and it keeps him from drowning. But like, I know that I wear inflatables because they're way more comfortable. Am I doing myself a disservice by doing that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I definitely wear the inflatable ones too, but I've always kind of worried about that too. There's a lot more mechanisms you have to worry about to work, the CO2 going off and, inflating it, not busting. There's a million things in that, and it's a lot more simple just to have good old school. I keep both in my boat, but I definitely wear the other ones most often.
Yeah, Nate. So I'm with you. And Rick, yeah, I'm starting to see the error in my ways, I think. I'm also going to call a spade a spade. Another reason that I wear a inflatable life jacket is the fact that it was given to me by a sponsored company. Lure Lock, when I used to be really high end affiliated with them, used to get a bunch of free stuff from them. I still consider them a sponsor of mine, but I don't do enough for them to remain sponsored the way I used to be, and I'm totally okay with that. Like we both made a decision that I could still buy their stuff at a very discounted rate, but they weren't going to give me the stuff anymore because one, I'm not bringing in the views like G-Man and places like that. But one thing that I do see is like, with Lure Lock, they did send me that thing back in the day. They sent me a really nice, it's a Mustang life jacket, that says it's Lure Lock labeled. It's got embroidered on this in the like the sleeve or the strap of it. So I wear it, one, because it's free, but I'm seriously thinking about buying that. But one of the major disadvantages with a standard life jacket is storage. Like it takes up 3 times the amount of space.
And the sucker's really hot too.
Well, if you're running and you take it off, I don't think it's a huge deal. But I think, spare prop, wrench, yeah. So that's another great deal there. So I carry enough tools where I'm not going to rebuild the motor, but I carry enough tools to where I can get things going. And so that one of the plastic prop wrenches is a great thing to have. So normally they make these wedges that you can wedge in from your cavitation plate to the prop and actually turn those things. But in a pinch, if you're somewhere needing to change it, you can always find a block, a stick of wood or something that you can stick in there and turn it. So a prop wrench and an extra spare prop is good. I carry one that's way too big for my boat. I have a 28 pitch raker 3-blade, which my boat will turn it. It's a big wheel though. It turns it okay. Matter of fact, on the river, once it takes forever to get it up to speed, but when I get it up to speed, my boat runs the fastest it's ever ran with a 28 pitch raker. And that's the original raker, but I just carry it for tournaments in case I need to get somewhere. And if I break a prop and I can still get somewhere, or at least get the motor going. But it was, my boat with a 28 pitch raker is a 75 mile an hour boat. But it takes, you could time it with a sundial. Yeah. So Fred, that's another thing is like, I feel like that if you're wearing them all the time, I feel like that, an inflatable, it's weird to say. And if it's more, if you're not tournament fishing, you got plenty of space anyway. Why not have both, right? If you have both, wear the one when you're running and then put the other one on if you're fishing, if you decide you need it. He's right. Yeah. They're definitely warm in the winter. That's for sure, man. Yeah. So, and I'm starting to become that way. Like I don't, I want to wear my inflatables, but like I said, the college tournament this past weekend, and knock on wood, I hope this young kid is okay, but he got destroyed, and he potentially may, he may perish from this accident. And I can guarantee you, probably from what I've read about and watching videos, if he hadn't landed close to the other guy, first off, if you're in a wreck like that, the first thing that you're going to be doing, you're going to be in shock, and you're going to be trying to like make sure you have your wits about you and make sure you have all of your appendages and everything else, right? So it's going to take you a little bit of time to come to and realize what's up. Luckily, this one kid didn't grab a hold of the kid, but I can guarantee you, if that kid's ejected out of there the opposite direction and he goes 100 yards away from the people, that kid's drowning. And that's a scary situation. Yeah. So, man, I'm glad you brought that up because I wear 2 different rain suits. And I'm looking at actually a third one. And again, first off, I'll tell you, this time of year, if it's cold, I am wearing a Stormer suit. And I will tell you another thing is that Stormer is expensive. It is extremely, 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 extremely expensive. And when you have I think if you buy stuff that's going to be good, it's money well spent. And I will tell you that my Stormer suit is amazing, man. You can wear like just jeans and a t-shirt under this stuff and be just, good. But I think what Ricky's talking about here more than anything is a good solid rain suit that you can wear 100% of the time. One of the things that I found out when I first bought, actually I didn't buy it. Misty bought it for me for a gift. I have one of the old school Bass Pro 100 mile per hour suits, and I still wear it on occasion. Matter of fact, I wear it if it's hot. I'm wearing that thing. But one thing that you don't take into consideration is not for rain. It's for wind blockage. Man, if you could stand on the front of the boat and have those bibs and things, and a lot of times I wear my bibs all the time, all day, especially if it's, cold. One, it holds heat in. Two, it doesn't let, has Gore-Tex in it usually, which doesn't let wind through. Huge deal there. If you guys don't have a rain suit, that would be one of the, it's the easiest thing for you to justify. And here's why I mean by that is like, you're going to spend, even like a Bass Pro suit right now is like $700, right? They're expensive, but I promise you, and you can mark my words on this, you could step on the front of the boat, and if it might not even be raining. If it's 35 to 45 degrees and you're out there with that thing and you're like, and the wind's not cutting you to the bone, immediately that $700 pays for itself, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've got the Bass Pro guideware suit. I love it. It's definitely not going to be as warm as the Stormer, but it's a good suit.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about the Gill suits right now, Gill. You can check it out at Gill Marine. Again, no affiliation. Columbia makes some decent stuff, which we are affiliated with. They make decent stuff. I've never, worn any of it, but I will tell you that Gill stuff is expensive too. You're looking $700 for a Gill suit, but like, I think it's called, the Apex Pro. Is that what it is? I'm looking on the website here, so I apologize if, there it is. I was looking in the wrong deal. Had to go to Gill Fishing, not Gill Marine. Let's see, men's. I'll show you here. Apex Pro X, I think, is their like upper echelon deal. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. A guy that I know, again, I'm not going to pull it up here because you guys don't care, but that's another thing I'll look at. Apex from the Gill company. I know a buddy of mine who wore Sim suits for a long time. Sims is one of the most overpriced rain suits on the planet, in my opinion. I don't think like it used to be. They used to make top of the line stuff. Kyle just bought a Sim suit he bought a new Z21, and it come with like a $2,000 gift card. So he ended up buying a Sims rain suit, and it's a great rain suit, but I don't think it's $2,000. Like, I've seen way nicer stuff. I feel like their prices haven't come down, but their quality has kind of went down. And that's where my buddy that was strictly, not Kyle, but another guy that was strictly Sims, has switched to Gill because he said that he feels like they're better quality. But I will tell you again, if it's cold weather, I'm wearing Stormer. But fish what you can afford. But I promise you, if you get one solid rain suit that will keep the rain off from you and wind, I wouldn't recommend jumping full bore and say I'm just going with Stormer gear, because the Stormer stuff, if it's above 50 degrees, 55 at the max, you're going to sweat your rear end off because it's made for cold water gear. The reason also I like fishing in the wintertime is that it's positively buoyant. So it's not going to take place of your flotation, PFD, your personal flotation device, but it does keep you afloat. It doesn't fight you to the bottom.
Yeah, the summer I have a lightweight hook suit that is pretty nice too. That it's definitely a lot lighter weight than my Cabela's Bass Pro one. It's probably more along the lines of what Ricky's talking about here, that like AFCO Hydronaut. Those are good looking suits too. I think that's what G-Man always advertises.
Yeah.
The hook, I might have paid $300 for. It's a lot more economical, $250, $300 with the jacket and the bibs.
Yeah. So another thing that I will tell you guys, and you guys have probably heard it and tired of me talking about it over the last few months. I'm a no affiliation with AFCO. I'm a Columbia person. I like all their stuff. I've been affiliated with Columbia for a long time. But if you don't own an AFCO Reaper hoodie, you are missing out. I'm telling you. I own two of them now. I bought Misty one too, so we have three of them in the household. Amazing, dude. They are so nice for fishing.
I absolutely love my plug knocker. That is the Bait Hound. And Brad told me about this years ago when I originally got my Ranger, and man, that thing has saved me a bunch of money.
Yep, easy. I pour my own. What he's talking about is a thing that actually physically you put it basically on a broken rod, or you don't really have to do that, but that's the best way to do it. Like 100-pound braid, and you drop it down the line, and it's literally shaped like a dog, and it will knock your bait off. I prefer to pour my own because it's a lot cheaper and they're easy to do. If you have a do it round, what do they call them? Egg sinker molds, one that has like the 3-ounce cavity on it. You could take a smaller barrel swivel and lay it over one of the edges and then pour lead into it. So you have a snap swivel that you can snap swivel and have that 3-ounce weight and goes down. JR has seen it 100 times. I've saved many baits with those things. Matter of fact, we were just out a couple weeks ago and I saved a $25 jerk bait for him.
That's right. Yeah. That's the one that he's talking about, the Hound Dog, or the one I've got at least.
Yeah. So, Mark, I agree with you. $2,000 rain suit is ridiculous. I will say that they're worth every penny, but I don't feel like they're worth $2,000. I mean, there's been times that I would have probably given $2,000 to stay dry, but there are much better options on the market. Man, like I said, I wouldn't steer you guys wrong. I own one of them from Picasso. It's a Picasso branded one, but it's obviously an AFCO Reaper hoodie. And then I bought a new black one the other day. But I will tell you, one thing that I've noticed is they run extremely small. I'm trying to lose weight, right? I've been working since the beginning of the year. I've down like, 12, 13 pounds at this point, which I'm, making progress. But I bought an extra large. I normally wear large hoodies. Like I'm wearing a large hoodie right here, and it fits me. I'm sorry, yeah, this is a large, and so I buy extra large hoodies right now because a lot of times I wear a lot of clothes underneath it. I wear like a fishing shirt and then a t-shirt underneath that one, so I can take the hoodie off if it gets warm and have my fishing shirt, which is like a hoodie, like a performance hoodie or whatever. But I ordered an extra large in this AFCO Reaper, and man, it's not skin tight, but it's pretty tight. And it's like Misty found the same deal too. I ordered her a size up from what I thought she would wear, just for the simple fact that she would probably be wearing clothes underneath it, and it fits her tight too. So as bad as it was going to hurt your heart, if you buy one, go up 2 sizes. You'll thank yourself for it. Again, I wear normally large. I would probably get a 2X in the next one I buy. And because it's amazing, I'm going to wear it. But I haven't washed. I just washed them. Misty washed them for me the other day. We didn't put them in the dryer. We hung them dry. So I'll be able to tell you more about them, but I'm hoping they don't shrink, because if they shrink, I'm in trouble.
So something I would add that, it might be my background in me, but definitely for the sun, some type of gator or something to avoid, getting a lot of sun exposure and getting skin cancer. I think the guys in Tactical Bassin did a great job of bringing a bit of, knowledge to the forefront here. I think Matt ended up having skin cancer and having to have it removed. So skin protection and as well as good old suntan lotion, as we call it in Logan County.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mark, that's a good idea too. One of the retractable dog leashes would be a pretty good deal. That would take up even less room than probably a broken rod.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is a great advice, and right now is the time to do that. Fishing shows everywhere. Matter of fact, the Columbus Fishing Show is coming up. Been several. There was a Charleston Fishing Show a couple weekends ago, and you're right. So a lot of times when you go to places like that, they don't want to pack that stuff home, so they'll normally sell it for $10 or $15 over cost. Yeah, so maybe that's just an AFCO thing. But again, if you're looking for a reaper, I would tell you to order 2 sizes up from what you need. One, because you're going to have probably going to have some clothes underneath it. And I ordered 1 size up, and it's pretty tight. So if I order the next one, I'm going to order a 2X. Get up in big boy land. So necessities for a boat.
Yeah, that was a good topic. I think a lot of people are giving me some really good suggestions on that. Some of the things that I didn't even think about.
Yeah, so let's dig into this. Is fishing a hobby or a sport?
Or is it just luck, as my wife thinks?
So that, man, I'm a firm believer that it's like I still am thinking that it's probably more luck than it is skill, but I will tell you, skill will have you catch more. I think it's probably like 70-30 luck to skill ratio. But fishing for me is something that it's not a hobby or a sport. It's more of a way of life for me. And that's why I made that video and I made that voiceover and stuff. It's because all that stuff is true. Like I would love to be able to, as much as I love teaching high school, like I have fun teaching kids. I'm there. I have a great schedule. The money's not all that great. That's why I'm right now worried about buying a live scope setup, because it's not like money can just, I don't have a money tree out back that I can go pick some more money off from. But if I could quit teaching tomorrow and just produce content on YouTube and be able to fish the rest of my life, I would consider it like, upper echelon of being like the biggest dream come true for me as a career. And the reason that is because like I have a borderline kind of like almost clinical addiction to fishing. And it's kind of, it really takes a toll on me sometimes, because I was in Columbus this past weekend at Buckeye Lake, and they have a thing called Winterfest, which is just a big giant party. And I was there, and there was thousands of people around this lake, everybody having a great time. And the absolute thing that I was looking at is every time we stopped at a place, where could I cast a lure if I had one? So at this point, it almost overtakes my thought process. Like somebody said, you probably like to fish, don't you, Tyler? Like it was brought up. I was like, I do, but it's almost like I feel like that it may be a downfall sometimes that I like to fish so much, because it's all I think about. Like if I'm not fishing, there's a chance I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm quite obsessed as well. So I think it's a sport, though, when you get down to it. I mean, you think about all of these other sports, like, and I'll argue with my wife and other people all the time, actually, that, if golf is on TV, why in the world isn't fishing on TV all the time, and it's the same guys with, tremendous skill that you put them anywhere in the country and they can just whip about anybody. So, and saying that too, that was one thing that we had talked about is why is MLF not having a live show on the first couple of days? That's kind of a annoying thing for me, but
yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know why that is. I don't know if you guys follow it or not, but they didn't have live coverage today. They didn't have any kind of coverage, as far as I know. Like you can probably get on their website and find out who's winning. But
that's it.
Jacob Wheeler made a video today saying there's no live today, but we'll have a camera with us tomorrow. So I don't know if it's like an issue with, if maybe it was like they dropped the ball or they didn't have all the stuff they needed or what. But JR's right. They didn't have a live, and I think that, I've been listening to the Mercer podcast a lot, and he had G-Man on there, and I also have listened to a couple others, and there's a lot of people that are, quote unquote jumping ship from MLF, and there are people that like haven't had a backup plan for what they're doing. Like, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but one of the MLF pros leaves MLF, and he leaves MLF on the terms, and he makes this public announcement saying that the reason he's leaving MLF is because he feels like that the rules and everything that goes with that stuff is basically not up to snuff. Like, it's not up to par. They kind of like do whatever they want to, and kind of there's a giant gray area, and like everybody knows that stems from that Cayuga tournament, right? Like, everybody knows it came from there. Like, there was a big deal about people catching the same fish multiple times, and they made a rule, and people still done it differently. Like, I'm a realist, man. You can go to Lake St. Clair, and you can find a fish on the bed, and you can see exactly where it's at. And a lot of times if you watch that video back in Cayuga, they're like 5 to 8 feet off the bank spawning. These are not Lake St. Clair bass that are out in the middle of nowhere, and you're not going to be able to really see them. But you can like triangulate positions of fish by what you see on the bank and where your boat is positioned. Guy catches a 6-pound smallmouth, releases the fish on the bed, and the rule was that you can't catch the same fish if you can see it. Kind of roundabout deal. I don't know the exact rule, but you can't see the fish you're casting at the second time. What I think that meant was, if you're fishing around a big bunch of fish and you're just fan casting everywhere and you catch a fish on accident, that is totally different. Well, this guy, multiple people did it, but one guy caught a 6-pounder, left, came back like an hour left of the tournament, put his boat in the same spot, kept back like 40 feet from where he was at, and casted like at this fish, right? Because he couldn't see it. Catches a 6-pounder, weighs it in, and that guy ends up winning Angler of the Year. So it's just weird.
Yeah, I don't think it's any, I really like MLF. It's kind of what I got into watching pro fishing in. I think that's the reason, being kind of a newer to fishing in comparison to, definitely you, Tyler, and a lot of the whole bass guys. I mean, I, of course, really love to watch that too, but I really like the format initially. But I think they had it right last year. I think best 5, weigh every fish, put it right back for fish conservation, and that way they're not in live wells, they're not dying, you're not taking them away from spawning beds, things like that. I mean, I really like that format.
Yep. Speaking of which, I had this on my mind earlier, and my brain got foggy. Brody Campbell, somewhat local guy. He is an absolute hammer. Goes down to the Toyota Series, I think it was on Okeechobee, and finishes second. Loses a giant to win the thing. I mean, the dude is an absolute hammer. He won a Toyota Series last year, finished second or third. Shout out to him. We're going to try to get him on the show here soon, very soon. But you should check him out. Follow him on social. The dude he can hammer fish. I don't know about MLS losing sponsors. I think a lot of it has to do with people jumping ship, and a lot of people, like Jordan Lee is a monster. He's like a big fish in a small pond. Like the dude, he's a young kid. He's got a giant career ahead of him. Like, he's like 33 years old at this point, has won the Bassmaster Classic twice. He won the Lake St. Clair MLF event this year. He's gone. We have G-Man. G-Man's jumping ship going to BASS. You have Brandon Polinick, you have Jason Christie, you have Iconelli, you have all these people that people like to watch jumping ship. Now that has to hurt your views, because nobody cares if I'm on there and I catch a fish and win the thing. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who I am. You know, these people that have giant followings are who they want to see. But I think it's weird, like Brandon says here. I'm not sure, but so I do like the team fishing series that they have. But I think MLF screwed up when they made the tournament series. I think they had an excellent thing going on when it was just a TV show. When you had people that were just fishing for this, they made it a series where you would do this in between tournaments, and I feel like they had a great thing going. But I think they dropped the ball on a lot of stuff. But I think when you split the bass basically down the middle, BASS, and put them in another category, and then things have changed since then. I think what lured a lot of people away from BASS to MLF was the fact, the kind of allure of no entry fees. And G-Man on the Mercer podcast brought up something that I never had thought about, but he hit the nail on the head when he said it, is that the reason that MLF isn't so great to watch is the fact that unless you're smashing them, you're probably not going to fish to the best of your ability, because there's always next tournament. You don't have to worry about paying, $40,000 or $55,000 in entry fees for BASS. He said, so a lot of times, he said, he even said to himself, he's like, I was, guilty of this. He said, I'd be on day 2, be 45 pounds behind the leader, behind the cut line, knowing I'm not touching that thing. He said, so I'd sit down and drink Mountain Dews and eat freaking, whatever halfway through the day. He's like, and I'd go put my boat on the trailer early and I'd leave. He said, because I didn't have a camera there. He said, I didn't have anything that basically kept me in the game. He said, now he said, I'm back at BASS. He said, I'm paying $45,000 to $50,000 a year, right, to fish these tournaments. But he said, one thing that I do tell you that it's going to make me do as a bass fisherman, he said, it's going to make me fish wire to wire, whether I'm in it or not. He said, because I have skin in the game at this point. He said, so I think it's going to make it more fun to watch. And he said, you're going to see a lot more people enjoy fishing because they're going to want to try to fish, wire to wire and enjoy it.
Yeah, I love watching G-Man. I feel like he's so poignant on everything, and he's somebody that's a lot smarter than he acts like he is at some point,
Oh yeah, he knows exactly how to poke and prod without taking a side.
He's actually a big proponent of people having a really good first aid kit on their boat too. I think that's maybe Palinick had something to do with it too.
Palinick's got something like First Angler Aid, I think is what it's called.
Angler Aid, that's right.
Yeah. So Bass and Passion says he heard it was a money issue, and I think that's the only thing it can be. Now here's my thought when that comes into play. We got Johnny Morris, right? Everybody knows Johnny Morris. He owns, Bass Pro, little small conglomerate who is now Bass Pro Cabela's. I did see, and it's probably, if it's online, it's got to be true. I didn't go to Snopes and check it out, but I did see that. Was it Morgan Wallen or somebody, and somebody else supposedly bought. What was that?
What the heck was that?
What was that? Did you see that?
Thumbs up.
I have no clue what just happened there, but yeah, thank you. I don't know what that was.
StreamYard loves us.
Yeah, so anyway, good stuff. But we got Johnny Morris. Johnny Morris is a billionaire. He makes money. He owns pretty much not all of them, but he owns a big amount of the bass boat manufacturers, Ranger, Nitro, you name it, he owns it. The dude's a billionaire. Right. He can afford to spend some money. It's all about, he thought that this was going to make him more money than it did, and now he's kind of like, you know what, he's bleeding money out at this point, so they're trying to rein it back. I agree with that, Fred. I don't go out to find myself. I go out to lose myself.
The dude's unreal.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right because I'm getting ready to spend $3,800.
Yeah, you know what they say a boat stands for, right?
BOAT, bust out another 1,000. So you're right, man, and that's the thing JR and I was talking about. Is like I don't hop on any lives and watch it really. I do though. I will tell you, JR and I were doing it last year, and the only time I really sat and listened to an actual live, we were actually on Lake St. Clair when MLF was there, and we were listening to it live on his boat while we were fishing. So we were getting like live updates, trying to figure out they weren't telling what they were doing, but we were seeing who was catching fish because we had seen everybody, right? So we were just trying to figure out what the right area or see if they were catching them. So it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that was really cool too because Alton Jones Jr. and Justin Lucas were like right by us for a large portion of that.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing, Ricky, is like, I don't know, and it's probably a money issue, but they came out with this thing saying, hey, we're cutting the anglers down to 45 this year. The bottom 50 people that fish this year don't get a fish next year. That was their stance. Now they're saying, well, we kind of want to do that within the next 3 years. So it's
that's I still think they should do some type of tournament between the two. Best of Bass, best of MLF. That would be awesome.
Will be good. Guys, we are at that 1 hour mark. Appreciate you guys sticking around for this episode of Honor of the Line. Next week, I'm going to try to get Brody Campbell maybe on. I haven't talked to him. I'm going to send him a message. Try to get him on, talk about his second place finish down at Okeechobee. Maybe he can give us some ideas. Got a video coming out very soon. Matter of fact, I got a video coming out tomorrow talking about a new Shimano bait, which I talked about last week, but I give you guys a little bit more in-depth details. The Shimano Ember 60 SP. Love this thing. I haven't had the chance to throw it yet, so take that for what it's worth. It looks really cool. I like the fact that this is a kind of competitor to the Shad Rap. It's a suspending crankbait, so you can run this thing down, stop reeling, and it's going to suspend. You can jerk it like a jerk bait and then start reeling it like a crankbait again. I think it's going to be pretty good. So I got a video of that. I also have a video coming out of the NRX Plus 852S JWR, which is a spinning rod, and I do believe it's probably the most versatile rod that I've ever bought in my entire life, bar none, hands down. If you're looking to get into the upper echelon line of fishing and you want to look at the NRX Plus and you want to start with spinning, because we talked about that earlier, most people catch more fish on spinning than they do casting. The 852S JWR is an amazing, amazing rod. So man, like I am in Camp Milliken. And I don't know if you guys follow the YouTube deal as much as I do, but I do tell you that Lunkers TV, which is a giant part of the Guggen bait company, released a video the other day basically saying Milliken was kind of a fraud. In more words than that, basically saying that his baits that he's releasing, they suck and all this stuff. You'd have to go watch it. But I think that, man, he's put in his work. And I was telling Misty the other day, like, Ben Milliken had, according to him, had a over $100,000 a year job. I don't know what he did. It was a hustle and bustle corporate job. And you can go back and find this on his page, I'm sure, on his Facebook. But he made a video sitting at his table in his house, and he said, I just quit a 6-figure job to pursue a bass fishing career. And since then, he has accrued millions of followers on all social media platforms, which is it's astronomical to do that. But he also, amongst doing that, whilst doing that, has created, wins an open, going to be fishing the Bassmaster Classic this year, does get a berth into the elites. I think, man, he is going to be kind of like the Matt Robertson of the deal, opposite of Matt Robertson, obviously. Matt Robertson is a nut. I like the guy a lot. Like, he's been on the show before, an amazing guy. Why do I like him so much? Because I can relate to him, man. He lives in a trailer park. I lived in a trailer growing up. Like, he speaks to Appalachian Americans. But also, what you got to realize is that Milliken comes with the millions of social media people like myself that is striving to become this huge social media person, which is probably never going to happen. But these people are following him because they see that he has done what everybody wants to do. So I think it's going to be good, man. I can't wait to see what happens next year.
He's a great fisherman. I don't think anybody can take that away from him. I mean, you can say what you want about his baits. Personally, I think Six Sense is doing some incredible things, and they're very innovative. I mean, I think there is definitely some copycat baits that everybody makes, but I mean, there's a reason why people are talking about them, and it's because there's a lot of jealousy brewing.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys sticking around. We are at the hour 5 mark, so we're going to hop off here. We'll see you guys next time, next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. Going to try to get Brody Campbell on. I'm also working on trying to get the Lawrence County game warden on, Darren Abbott. I want to talk to him about things that we as bass anglers can do. And I'm not trying to put him on the spot. I'm trying to put us as bass anglers on the spot. What can we do to better the sport of fishing? You know, do they need help? What can we help with? Try to get a plan to try to make fishing, especially in Lawrence County, a little better. So that's gonna be coming up soon. I'm gonna reach out to him. I'm sure he'll be, game to do that. And if I've said this 100 times, guys, anytime that you guys, anybody out there would like to be on the show, we will give you a link and you can come on here. We'll talk fishing with you. We got a lot of stuff coming on. We're also going to have casting with the coaches on here soon. They are 2 coaches from Kentucky, and they have bass fishing teams. They're also coaches from other sports. One of them coaches basketball, the other one coaches football. And we're going to have them on just to have a little conversation about that. So, again, without further ado, unless Jared has anything, we're going to hop off of here.
Yeah, we're going to get the secret as to how to get F1s put in our lakes.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen. We're going to ask. Yeah. I'm going to ask them quickly, like, if somebody were just to drop in, say, 100,000 F1 bass into, like, some little lake called Vesuvius, what would happen?
Yeah, it would be awesome. But
yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate you.
For sure. Have been slacking, but I will tell you, I'm posting the videos starting tomorrow. The last 4 weeks will be on out on Spotify. If you like to listen to these things, or if you have missed these, they're audio only. You can check them out when you're running down the road, 100% free. But with that being said, guys, you know the deal. If you guys can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.